We are mostly dealing with relocations from California, go figure, but we also have a huge influx from Washington as well as the Chicago and New York area. So I've been in real estate now for about 2.5 years. Relocations are the bread and butter of my business, hence the move me to Tennessee.
What are some of the things that you wish your relocation buyers from other states would have known before they hop into the process?
So they're coming in, walking the property, getting measurements, taking a look at everything. If not, I'm usually there and we'll do those things for those clients. Talk to a lender. If we're going to be financing this purchase, we really want to know the ins and outs. And I have a team of lenders that specialize in relocation.
Are you thinking about relocating to Nashville, Tennessee? I have a very good friend of mine, Marie Lee. She is here to talk about everything Nashville real estate. Marie, welcome. Thank you so much.
Joe, thanks for having me. Love to see it, and happy to be on this call together.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to chat. I know that we did this a year ago, so this is really cool to do like an updated version. But just to kick things off, tell us about you, your background in real estate, and how you got started in the industry in Nashville.
Yeah, so I am a relocation expert for the Nashville, Tennessee area. And what that looks like is I'm primarily helping people who are looking to relocate from other states and purchase in the Nashville area. We are mostly dealing with relocations from California, go figure, but we also have a huge influx from Washington as well as the Chicago and New York area. So I'm hopping on a call with them with a one-on-one conversation where we start talking about what it is that they need, what they're looking for, what their budget is. And then we work together to find some areas that are best fit for them, what their needs are and their lifestyles. And then from there, we'll plan relocation trips, or we're doing virtual showings where I'm recording neighborhoods, homes, virtual tours, and we have systems set up in place so people can do this completely remote. We have systems set up so people can be as involved in this process as they want to be, whether they are making the move and then looking to buy, or they're wanting to come down for a relocation trip. I've been in real estate now for about 2.5 years. Relocations are the bread and butter of my business, hence the move me to Tennessee. I would say over 2/3 of our business is relocation purchases. So this is a really big part of our business. And I primarily connect with these people from social media. So that is usually through Instagram, occasionally through Facebook or some other platforms. And it's been great.
Yeah, and that's how we got connected through social. Isn't it funny how the algorithm works?
Now I feel like we're each other's biggest online cheerleaders.
Definitely,
Love
definitely.
it.
Well, as I know that we talked last year, but as you know, somebody who specializes in relocation, could you share with everybody maybe a little bit how the market has changed over the last few years?
Yeah, so people are making the moves to Tennessee for a number of different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is people are looking for land and they want this homestead lifestyle. They're looking for land, they're looking for big homes, they're looking to live in a place with low property taxes and no income taxes. And so they have their sights set on the Tennessee area. However, we have started to see a pretty big shift in the amount of land that's being offered, especially for price points. So I got off the phone this morning with a New York relocation purchase, and they are wanting to buy around the 800 price point, but they were like, yeah, we would love 10, 15 acres. And that doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't exist. In our price point, that's not the most accessible. There's not a lot of options there. So I think the biggest change has just been the purchase prices in the Nashville area and the amount of land that's coming with these homes. We still have a lot of areas surrounding the Nashville market that qualify for USDA loans. So those are rural development loans. However, the amount of land is shrinking bit by bit as things continue to develop.
Oh wow, you gave me a question, so I have to ask because in Miami, all our land is like
Yeah.
gone. Talk to me a little bit about the USDA loan and land, like in land in general. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that's like a popular thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so USDA is a really great program for people who are looking to buy in the more rural areas. And I would say USDA considers about 95% of the US to be a rural area. So in our market, that's even going out just 30, 45 minutes from the urban core of Nashville. So within a commuting range, and it's allowing a 0% down purchase. There are income limits and some restrictions there, but for the most part, it's a way of making things a little bit more accessible for people. They're usually really competitive financing terms, but like I said, there are some requirements and some restrictions there. So I would say it might not be the number one financing option for relocations, but if you are looking to make a purchase and you need a tool in your back pocket, USDA loans could be a good option for you.
I like that. Thanks so much for sharing that little pro tip. Keep it in
Not a
your back
problem.
pocket.
Yeah.
With relocation, working with buyer, you work with sellers too. I see you with your listings and doing the walkthroughs, and I saw you with that for sale by owner and how you help them net more.
Yeah.
But speaking about buyers, like what are some of the things that you wish your relocation buyers from other states would have known before they hop into the process?
Yeah, so the very first thing that I will do is when I have a conversation is I recommend somebody talking to a lender because the purchase process for relocations is a little bit different than a traditional purchase. And the reason for that is your income qualifications are going to be all dependent upon your employment. So we have a lot of people that are looking to make the move and they plan on finding employment here in Tennessee once they get here. However, if you're going to make a purchase, that's going to impact your down payment requirements. So when we are having a conversation up front, a lot of people have already had this whole plan in their mind of how they're going to make this move, but they haven't even taken into consideration what the purchase process is going to look like. So I would say I would recommend speaking to a lender sooner rather than later, especially a lender who specializes in relocations, and then seeing if we need to adjust our time frames at all. I see that as the biggest hurdle or barrier for people who are looking to make the move or relocate. And I don't want it to sound scary and off-putting. If I'm having a conversation with somebody, I feel like that comment can sometimes halt the process for some people. I am using that as a statement to just set an expectation of, hey, we can make this happen, but there might be a few other steps in the process that we need to take into consideration before making a purchase.
Yeah, no, relocating, you have to know your numbers. I agree. It's so important because you're thinking of moving trucks and you're thinking of the job and cost of living and insurance is going up for my car and where, all those things. So knowing your numbers up front, yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, we had a relocation purchase, and she was a first-time home buyer, and she was relocating from Oregon, and she had been following my first-time buyer recommendations, saying, "Oh, I only need 3% or 5% to make a purchase." But because she didn't have employment secured up front, she ended up having to put down a 10% down payment because even though it's her first home, because she doesn't have a job lined up here, mortgage companies were considering that to be a second home purchase. So
Mm.
it dramatically changed the entire process for her and what she could afford. We were able to make it work, but if she had known that up front, maybe she would have been able to save or make some changes all based around that.
Definitely. Yeah, it throws a wrench in the plan when you think you're getting it for 3% down and then it's 10. And
Yeah.
then I'm sure, we have to factor in closing costs too. That's like that magical thing that doesn't exist until the very last minute. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So a lot of, like upfront preparation. Sounds like there's a little bit of like a buyer consultation in there, right? Can you share like a story? Like, what's it like to work? Like, I found you on Instagram. I want to work with you. Like, what does working with you look like?
Yeah, let's talk about the buyer funnel or the entire buyer process from beginning to end. So let's say you find my content on Instagram, you're wanting to make a purchase in the Nashville area, and you want to learn more information. People will typically either send me a direct message on Instagram, or they will go ahead and go to the link in my bio and sign up for a time to chat. Either way, we're using that link in bio to sign up for a time to chat. So we're going to set up a 15-minute conversation where we're just learning more about each other's personality, their motives, what's bringing them here, why are they interested. And then we start talking about some locations that might be more suitable for their budget or their lifestyle and needs.
Mhm.
That conversation right there gives me a lot of action points on my end to best support you. So it lets me know if I need to connect you with lenders, if we need to start having some financing conversations. It lets me know what areas maybe we should start focusing in on when it comes to best fit areas. It gives me an idea of the type of home that you're looking for and maybe what type of purchase. Should we go the regular resale route, or maybe should we consider new construction? And I think it also gives me an idea for strategy. If we're able to be competitive and be upfront, we can hop right into the market. If we need a couple of additional pieces like closing costs being paid or flexible timelines, we might need to shift our strategy just a little bit. And we'll talk about what that looks like. Strategically hunting for homes that have been on the market for a little bit longer, maybe more open to some negotiations and things like that. If we're doing this process completely remotely, we'll narrow down some areas, and we'll usually narrow down a couple of top homes. I'll go view those homes, get some videos. I'll send them to you. We'll have conversations. Sometimes that includes having the lender talk about what mortgage options would look like for that particular home. Sometimes, if there are several homes and we really don't know or feel comfortable making a decision on location, we'll plan a relocation trip where you will make the trip here to Nashville, and we'll take a look at some different locations in your budgets in these areas to hopefully settle on a specific area,
Yeah.
or find the right home. That relocation trip has been very successful for some people finding a home. That has also been really successful for some people who may not find at home during that trip to settle on a specific location. So it just makes searches a lot easier. And we'll go from there. Usually they might not be in town for the first portion of the purchase, either through the search. If they're not here and haven't been here, I would make a recommendation for them to come in during the inspection phase. So they're coming in, walking the property, getting measurements, taking a look at everything. If not, I'm usually there and we'll do those things for those clients. So we've had several clients who've made purchases where they haven't been here for the entire process, and they get their keys after closing day or walk the property on closing day. But we've also had some relocations where people have made the move in transit or in the middle of this transaction. And, we've gotten to hand over those keys on closing day, and they're officially a Tennessee resident.
Amazing. You have a process. You have it down. You're an expert at this. You've been doing this for a little bit, I think.
I feel like I put in my 10,000 hours. I think that's what they say,
Yes.
10,000 hours to really refine your processes. So we've been working on it, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, buying a house remotely across the country, it can be a stressful process, but it sounds like you just have it down. And I love this relocation trip. Can you talk to us a little bit more? Like, what does that look like? Like, I know some people, you're going to fly into town. Like, what does that look like for somebody who is in the process working with you?
So relocation trips are usually 3 to 4 days, and day one usually just consists of travel, you getting settled in here. Maybe we go ahead and meet day one for like a casual cup of coffee, or maybe a casual dinner, and we just get to know each other a little bit better. Or then day two, day three, day four, we're really focusing on viewing homes. So I would say we will pick on average between 3 to 6 homes in a specific location. So we try to hit it all in the same location. We'll group them all together. We might view homes in an area called Mount Juliet, Tennessee. That's about a 20-minute commute outside of Nashville. We want to make sure we're maximizing our time out there. And then we'll view those homes either in the morning or the afternoon. And then the other half of the day is really just spent exploring these areas on your own, getting to have fun in the city, trying to determine if this is the best fit for you. So I will say each relocation trip is not an automatic relocation. We have a lot of people who will do these trips maybe a few years out, maybe a few months out. And then sometimes people come here, do the relocation trip, and realize maybe this isn't for me. Maybe they had some unrealistic expectations for budgets and pricing or things like that. But it's a really informative process regardless. So if you can afford to take the trip and spend some time here, I feel like you will not regret making that trip to really determine if this is the best fit for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super exciting. The schedule, it sounds great. It definitely sounds like I have somebody who is guiding me on my relocation journey to see, yeah, like you said, if it's the best city or not. Maybe you could share, like if I'm coming to you and I have my trip booked, I can't wait to see Marie. What are some things that I should be looking out for when we're going out on tours? Or what are some things that you advise your clients?
When we have this initial conversation and I mention some of these different areas, I will send a relocation guide that gives blurbs about these locations. That relocation guide will talk to you a little bit more about maybe the population, what is there to do in that area, what are the main amenities, and even restaurants, things like that. When you're here in town, I like to make recommendations for you to map out things like potential commute times. If you have specific things that you enjoy doing, like I've had some people that have been very adamant about being close to like major tennis leagues or pickleball leagues. That's become a huge
Yep.
thing. Mapping out, do these locations sit in an area that is commutable to the areas that I want to be in? So we try to factor in our budget, our lifestyle, and then what it is our needs are. So we kind of create like a pyramid, yeah, a
Yeah.
triangle of these needs to help pinpoint locations.
Awesome. So taking into account not just the home, but their lifestyle and really marrying it all.
I won't lie, it's a little bit of pressure on me because if somebody doesn't love an area and I'm giving them these recommendations based on things that they like, it can sometimes feel like, oh, do I know what I'm doing? But I think that it gives me a better perspective of, okay, maybe we think these things are important, but maybe they're not. It gives me a better understanding of maybe some additional questions to ask people or some additional things to look for if this isn't a matchup completely.
With that said, I mean, if you could give one piece of advice to that person out there who is watching this and looking to relocate to Nashville, like what's that one piece of advice you wish every buyer would know?
I'm going to sound redundant, but it's talk to a lender. If we're going to be financing this purchase, we really want to know the ins and outs. And I have a team of lenders that specialize in relocation. They have made the move themselves from different areas, and they can give you a lot of perspective as well. And they can give you true understandings of what the financials look like. I tend to get people who ask me a lot of questions about financing. I am a realtor. I'm not a mortgage lender, broker, anything by any stretch of the imagination. But I just want to make sure that we can set proper expectations for financing because that's probably the biggest misalignment whenever we are having these conversations. And that is the biggest driver for this process. If we can make this happen, what are budgets going to look like? What are costs going to look like? And really, what is the timeline going to look like if we're looking to finances?
I go
Yeah,
ditto for Miami too.
that's just everywhere in general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a surprise that I mean, good or bad, there's going to be a surprise that comes up, but it's definitely easier like to work with that local lender just to get ahead of that before you start going into houses.
Yeah. And I think the next thing would just be setting a time frame, like almost setting an intention for this. I have people who reach out and they are just exploring the ideas of relocating, and I'm here to be a resource and happy to answer questions and all of that. But I find that if people are reaching out and they are interested, but they don't have a set move date, things can become a little ambiguous and gray, and it's those people that tend to maybe not make the move, or it takes a lot longer than it really should have. I feel like if we are looking to relocate by a certain date or a certain time frame, it just makes the process a lot easier to have a set time frame. Yeah, I don't know. Has that been that way for you?
Totally. Because people get frustrated when there's no end date or when there's no like, date and it's real and it's in a calendar. It's kind of just like a fairy tale. It's like, oh, I think I'll move to Nashville or I think I moved to Miami one day. This is fun. Let me go on, and look at houses online. But it's like, no, when you put a date on it, it's like, it's my job to help you, hit that date. And I'm sure it's the same for you, right?
I've had some clients where they've been on maybe month to month leases or these short term rental leases where it's given them some flexibility for searching. But I would say, in a way, that's actually hindered them from making their home purchase. And I've watched some people get priced out of the market just because they don't have a definitive end date. They always feel like something better is going to come along. But if you have an end date in mind, we always meet that end date. And I have
Yep.
not that has not met that time frame. So huge driver.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
So I love the financing. I love that it's organized. You have, your processes in place. To wrap things up, what is one thing, it could be real estate or not, what's one thing that you wish more people knew about Nashville?
Oh, one thing I wish more people knew. I feel like people think about Nashville, I don't know, as like a party city, as a
Okay.
lot of people come here for bachelorette and bachelor parties or big group conferences. But I feel like in general, Nashville has a lot to also offer in terms of like outdoor things. We have lots of hiking, lots of waterfalls and things like that. It's a really great time to go explore. If you've got some time and you want to do a little outdoor exploration, there is more than enough to choose from. Whether you're wanting to camp, whether you're wanting to go out on the lake, I feel like we have a number of outdoor activities, but people just tend to think about, I don't know, the Nashville lifestyle. I know that Miami has like a certain lifestyle that people all know about. I feel like each city is developing its own profile. So yeah, I will ask people, hey, what are some things that you'd like to do? What are some maybe lifestyle factors we need to take into consideration? And I will always ask, are you a hiking person or outdoorsy person? And people don't even take that into consideration, but they should, because Nashville's a hidden gem.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
What a time. Yeah, it's like maybe an hour, hour and a half outside of the city. It's beautiful scenic drives, like rolling hills. I mean, it looks like something out of a movie, just like green pastures or green trees and mountains and waterfalls. So it's out
Wow.
at a time.
Yeah, no, I would have never known that if you haven't shared it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I probably should highlight that a bit more on my my videos, like it should.
Definitely. Well, Marie, to wrap it up, what do you want to leave the viewers with?
Yeah, if you are looking to make a relocation, regardless of where you're at, if you're in the Miami market or the Nashville market, the best thing you can do is choose agents that specializes. I know Joe has several processes in place, as do I. We'd be happy to hop on, do a consultation, talk about what life might look like, what the financials might look like, and come up with a game plan for you. But it is essential to work with somebody who knows all about relocations, because there are a lot of ins and outs, but also we just have a very broad perspective about specific locations and resources that you might need to make this happen.
Amazing. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right. Marie, thank you so much. It is always such a pleasure to hop on Zoom with you. And thanks for just being a resource for me over the years, connecting between our markets and between our clients.
Likewise, I always appreciate our live chats and the DMs on
If only people knew what we go through in the DMs.
messages. Yeah, we've got a pretty rich conversation going.
A real estate agent life,
Great. That's great. Joe, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Marie, where can people find you? What's the best way to connect?
Yeah, my handle across all platforms is at Move Me to Tennessee. I am most active on Instagram and will answer DMs, responses in my comments, the works. I am also available via email or phone. If you go to the link in my bio on Instagram, you have all my contact information right at your fingertips.
Amazing. Marie, thank you so much again. And for you people out there watching this, if you're thinking about moving to Nashville, Marie is your girl. Send her a message on Instagram. Check out her profile just for all home buying tips and relocation guides. Marie, thank you again so much. And I hope to
Yeah,
talk to you soon.
yeah, likewise. Thank you.